I, 44 female, divorced my ex-husband 47 2 years ago and have been dating my boyfriend 45 since. No cheating. My ex and I fought a lot, but the divorce was less litigious than expected. My ex-husband, James, and I were married for 21 years. In Massachusetts, I, as his ex-spouse, could stay on his group health insurance. In addition, the judge ordered that since I stayed home to raise our 4 kids, 21 male, 19 female, 18 male, teen male, I get alimony for life, or until only I, not my ex, remarried. In terms of health insurance, I'd lose it if either James or I remarried. However, James has been very open about the fact that he hates the idea of marriage or marrying again even more than he hates me still being covered under his health insurance policy. His exact words were, "Well, luckily for you, it's not emotionally or financially cost-effective for me to marry just to get you off my health insurance." For the entire length of our marriage, part of the reason I didn't work is because my ex is a doctor, and after doing calculations, we realized I'd never make enough even to get close to covering the childcare costs for 4 kids. I checked and saw that if I'd continued my administrative job, I'd be making $17 an hour today. I have no chance of making even that now. My boyfriend and I are very much in love. In many ways, I wish I'd met him first. He's empathetic, and unlike my ex, he values work-life balance instead of running between private practice and the psych ward at a county hospital to work 24/7. However, my boyfriend and I don't live together, and besides small presents to each other, we pay for ourselves. Things were good, but my boyfriend changed after I had a pregnancy scare. He said that if I got pregnant again, he wanted us to be living under one roof and not like 2 divorced parents. So he proposed. I was upset but had to turn it down because, love aside, this was my health insurance and only source of income on the line. I didn't understand why my boyfriend was so upset and didn't understand. He's a case manager at a non-profit and we'd be living on half the income I'm currently living on if we take out child support, which is bound to create tension on both sides. Am I the idiot? I just want to add that we cannot move in together either, as the archaic family court laws would see that and assume that my boyfriend and I would be sharing finances or that I would be supported by my boyfriend by the fact of us moving in together. If I could move in with him and not lose my benefits, we'd be doing so. You're not an idiot, but let's summarize your situation. You've chosen a check from your ex over the love of your boyfriend. You do you, but your boyfriend is right to be angry, and if it were me, I'd leave your butt rather than play the game of how can I get the love of one man and the money from another. That's BS. Stay-at-home mom? All the kids are in school or college. LOL, you're alone during the day. I'm not trying to be rude with this question, but what do you do all day? Why not go back to school, get training, get a job? If your ex dies or becomes disabled and unable to pay alimony, you will be screwed. If your boyfriend is employed and has health insurance, when you get married, his health insurance will then be updated to cover you and your kids. Why not go back to school, get a job? Because that would require effort, and she thinks raising kids is worth a lifetime of alimony payments, even though everyone else, including her ex-husband, has to continue working. The kicker? She left him and still thinks this way. She's getting a free check and health insurance, something millions of Americans struggle with. In Massachusetts, she also gets a cut of his retirement funds. Since he's a doctor, she's likely all set. Jesus, don't get divorced in Massachusetts. My buddy was moving from Texas to Massachusetts. He mentioned to me that he was considering divorcing his wife after he moved there with her. I told him to get it done in Texas rather than Massachusetts if he wanted to have a future. Boy, I love how she tries to play the victim, blaming archaic family court laws for not being able to move in with the boyfriend. The laws are the reason OP's sole income is alimony and child support, and she never has to get a job. She raised his kids and kept his home and life together for 21 years while he pursued a successful career. She fully supported his success. It was not a punishment for him to pay alimony. Alimony is awarded when a court determines that's her fair share of the life she worked for their family to have. OP, your new partner needs to understand that due to alimony moving forward, your relationships will not include marriage. If that's not something that they're willing to compromise on, then they aren't the person for you. Before my wife and I got married, we agreed that she would get to name our first boy and I would get to name our first girl. We recently discovered that she was pregnant with twins, and after talking about it, we decided to stick to our original plan. I thought everything would be fine, but ever since I heard the name she chose, we've been having problems. The name is bad. It sounds really stupid, and it's absolutely the kind of name that will get our son bullied. I immediately vetoed it, but my wife said I couldn't because that wasn't our agreement. I asked why she insisted on this particular name. Apparently, it comes from a character she identified with in one of her favourite books when she was growing up. But emotional attachment doesn't make the name itself any better. I said fine, then I may as well name our daughter Hortensia Beerbong III. It sounds just as dumb. She told me I couldn't do that, and I just said why not, it's my choice, that was the agreement. We've been at an impasse ever since. Now, I'm not actually going to name my daughter that, and I'm pretty sure my wife knows that too. I was just trying to help her see the mistake she was making, but she's not listening to reason. Recently, she started hinting she might just take off around her due date and give birth somewhere without me and my naming input. I think that's uncalled for, but I've got a week-long business trip that I can't get out of about a month before she's due, and I'm worried she'll take the opportunity to disappear until after the twins are here. I've told my brother to keep an eye on her while I'm gone, but it's not like he can watch her 24/7. I think her name choice is dumb and will cause problems for our son, and she thinks I'm being controlling and overdramatic. Neither of us is willing to back down, but with her hints about skipping town for the birth, I've been wondering if things have gone too far. Am I the idiot? Everyone's the idiot here. You and your wife have more issues than just naming the children. For her to threaten to take off and have the birth without you, and name the children to spite you, and then you escalating by asking your brother to watch her, is not a good indicator for the health of your marriage. For many couples, naming their children 2 yeses is a win, a single no cancels that choice. You both should agree on the names. How old are you both? 11 and 12? Because that's the vibe I'm getting. Who makes a deal like this? I hope Megatron Jacob Edward and Hortensia Beerbong III have a good support network outside of you two that can handle the responsibility of raising a child. Counselling. Immediately. Frequently. Hopefully you can untangle this mess before you bring kids into it. I, female 29, met up with a friend of mine, female 27, at a cafe for lunch today at a new spot we'd not tried before. The atmosphere was lovely and it was so nice to catch up, but after lunch, she texted me about an interaction I had and said that it had made her uncomfortable, so I'm coming to the internet for judgment. The cafe was order at the counter, so I went up and ordered and paid for both my friends and my food and drinks. Everything went the same as at any other cafe and I returned to our table. A few minutes later, a waitress, female 30s, brought over our coffees, and it was clear that she had Down syndrome. This was no issue. I think it's lovely that she can find work and is comfortable in the cafe environment. When the waitress set down our coffees, she said to me, "I made these all by myself," and was quite proud of her demeanour. I told her verbatim, "Thank you, they look fantastic, well done." The waitress then walked away and my friend and I enjoyed the rest of our lunch. Only after lunch did my friend text me, telling me that I was rude and condescending to the waitress and she felt ashamed to have gone out with me. I was quite surprised, so I asked what she meant, and she texted me, "You treated her like a child. If she didn't have Down syndrome, you wouldn't have said, 'well done.'" This was so rude and I cannot believe I have a friend who is so discriminatory. I texted back that I had no intention of being condescending, but that the waitress was quite proud of her work, demonstrated by her telling me that she'd made the coffees all by herself, and I just wanted to congratulate her on her hard work. My friend just sent back, "It isn't your place to congratulate her." She's since blocked me. I spoke to my husband, 30, about it, and he says that I did the right thing because I encouraged the waitress, but I need more convincing based on my friend's reaction. So, was I the idiot? Not the idiot. Tell your friend there's something called reading the room, and that reactions are tailored to individual circumstances. It sounds like the waitress was pleased with your reaction and took it as a well-meaning compliment as you intended. Get a new friend. The old one lives in a weird place where being nice is condescending. If OP hadn't said anything encouraging to the server and just said thanks nonchalantly, I bet that same friend would turn around and say that OP was rude and inconsiderate to the server. That kind of person just finds fault in everything and wants to start drama. Your friend is damn charming ultra soft. My dad is getting married in the winter. When he gets married, he'll have a young grammar school aged stepdaughter, Luna. And this whole post is about my dad and his fiancée thinking my maternal grandparents should give his stepdaughter a gift to wear to the wedding. My mom died 4 years ago and she and dad were still married, and he still has some contact with her family. But since I moved out last year, it's been less than when I lived there. I'm a 19-year-old female, by the way. So what happens is my grandparents brought me this really sweet locket for my birthday. My dad and his fiancée were living together at the time and they brought me out to dinner to celebrate. Luna also heard her mom talking about my locket and who bought it for me. Luna was suddenly excited and talking about how they were about to be her grandparents too and if they would buy her one. My dad said they probably would and we'd ask them, meaning he and I would. I looked at him like he was crazy, but he ignored me. He did ask my grandparents later and they said no. They even asked him why they would buy her something. They have no relationship with her and will likely only see her occasionally. He was cranky with them for their response, but I was like, yeah, that makes sense to me. So my grandparents helped me and my friends move into an apartment together over the summer. They also helped us get set up with some stuff. This bothered my dad's fiancée a lot because they are yet to meet her or Luna and have made no effort to do anything for Luna's birthday. So she and my dad told them they would be invited to the wedding, which they must accept, and they must give Luna something sweet before the wedding to symbolize her being adopted as a grandchild by them. Now again, these are my mom's parents, not my dad's. My grandparents told them it would not be happening. Fast forward and my dad and his fiancée have complained about it constantly. My grandparents warned me that drama was going down over their refusal. My dad and his fiancée said I should talk to my grandparents and tell them to knock it off and to treat my sister better than they are. I told them that they shouldn't be such greedy idiots and that I would not ask my grandparents that. I told them Luna wasn't my sister, and even if she was, it wouldn't obligate my grandparents to do anything for her unless they were my dad's parents. We got into an argument over me calling them greedy idiots. They were offended and told me I was an idiot to say that about Luna too. Am I? Not the idiot. Your dad and his fiancée are insane. In what world did they think your grandparents owe Luna anything or are anything to Luna? They are greedy. Yes, you are also correct. This girl is not your sister, dad is not married yet, you're an adult and won't live under their roof. I genuinely cannot imagine having the nerve to go to the parents of a woman who died and say, we're your new daughter and grandchild, forget about your child, give us your money. He seriously has some nerve to go to OP's maternal grandparents and basically try to replace their daughter. He needs to get it in his head that the thing that made OP's mom their daughter is that they raised the woman, not that she was married to OP's dad. Jesus, what's wrong with these people? Luna is nothing to them. In addition to stepmom's parents, Luna's bio-dad's parents and OP's dad's parents. The only reason to be this way about OP's mom's parents is that they must be much richer. Now OP is an adult and dad is remarried, so he has no more access to the fringe benefits of richness. He's trying to shoehorn Luna into the love and affection of strangers to get back into the country club. I agree. Luna's mother feels entitled to OP's grandparents, even though they have nothing to do with her. OP, your dad and his fiancée should just buy Luna a locket themselves, if they wanted to have one so badly. Your maternal grandparents owe her absolutely nothing, and it's bizarre, and yes, greedy, your dad is acting like they do. Seriously, she's 6. It doesn't have to be a super expensive one. Heck, your dad should get her one as a statement and commitment of him being her new stepdad. Her mom gets a ring and she gets a locket. Perfect kid logic. I'm 44. I have my son Jim young. He's 27 this year. Jim has had an interesting love life and his demand for what I must do to make his new person feel part of the family is a lot. Of course, we made them feel welcome, but he always pushed for us to go on shopping trips and other bonding activities. His first wife I really liked and it was easy, but they were married for only 2 years. His next wife was rough. She wasn't really interested in a relationship with me, but he pushed and made situations where we would have to be together. This is one of the reasons I think she divorced him. He's engaged again and I'm refusing to do it anymore. Yes, I will be polite and welcome her. I get family, but I do not have a deeper relationship. I'm sick of getting to know people and having to drop them when they divorce because it would be seen as me picking my son's ex over my son. They wanted me to take a girls' trip to New York and I shot it down. I told them I didn't wish for a deep relationship with her, that I will not go on any trips or bonding activities. She left and my son is angry that I rejected his fiancée. We got into a huge argument and he called me an idiot. Am I the idiot? Third marriage at 27? Maybe you should choose some of daughter-in-law's sides. He sounds wonderful. Not the idiot. You don't need to form a deep bond with your son's flavors of the month. Well, wedding venues and planners love the son. I would ask your son why he gets married and divorced so often. He's already on his third soon-to-be wife and not even 30 years old yet. At this rate, he's going to easily surpass Elizabeth Taylor in the number of marriages before he dies. Is that his goal in life? Your son would benefit from some therapy. You're the kind of mother-in-law a lot of women and men want. Not overly involved, not up in their business, not calling or showing up to the farm for information and insight you have no business in. Your son, meanwhile, is being ridiculous, and it seems he's found a wife just as ridiculous as him. You're not obligated to have friendships or relationships where you don't want them. Full stop. I disagree. You are the idiot. $20 says you change your tune if and when they have kids, and you can't get mad at your son or daughter-in-law if they deny you much access to your grandchildren because you don't want a deep relationship with their mom. Besides, if you find it so rude to drop someone because they're your son's ex, why don't you find it rude to tell them you don't want to get to know them? That's rude, especially if she's about to be family. You're allowed to be as cold and distant as you want, but don't come crying when they cut you out of their life because it's what you asked for. You don't want to know your son's wife. Any consequences of that statement are 100% on you and your own doing. If my parents said that, you best believe I'd choose my spouse over my parent, even if it was my third or fourth or fifth spouse. Doesn't matter. You're rude. You handled this beyond poorly.